Hey guys, welcome to my conversation with your South Carolina 4A 144-pound state champion from James Island, Tommy Johnson. Tommy, first, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot. Yeah.
So, how does that sound, state champion?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because that's been like the goal since like what? Like third grade, man. Just grinding, always seeing those guys up there being state champion, always wanted to do that. So it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm going to ask you. So for those of you that don't know, Tommy was originally from California, now in South Carolina, and we're going to get to that. We're going to have some conversations about that and everything else. But before we do that, let's talk off the mat. You good with that?
Yep.
All right. All right. So, I'm gonna start with a question I haven't asked anyone yet. All right, and that is Beyonce. I assume you know who Beyonce is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm aware who Beyonce is. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Beyonce is dropping country songs.
Yes. Yeah. I have seen that. Yep.
All right, is that a yes or a no?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a no. I think it's definitely a no. Yeah. That is not something that's on any of the playlists that I listen to for sure.
Was the regular Beyonce when she wasn't dropping that? Was that on your
I mean,
playlist?
not really. No, definitely
No.
not.
All
I'm
right,
gonna be
all right.
honest.
So you must be a Swiftie.
No, probably the farthest thing from it. I'm gonna be honest.
All right. So like Metallica?
Yeah, probably closer to that.
Probably closer to that. All right. Red Hot
Led
Chili
Zeppelin.
Peppers?
Yep, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Led Zeppelin.
Okay. All right. I love that. I love to like wonder what you guys are actually listening to. Because sometimes I ask questions and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't have any
Uh-huh.
idea. All right. So let's go to school. So best subject, or not best subject, what's your favorite subject in school?
Favorite subject? I think that honestly click the most with history. Like right now, I'm in U.S. history, and that's definitely my best grade right now.
Okay.
It's easy for me to. I don't know. I just find it interesting to study stuff that's happened in the past, and I just click with the most. I remember all the stuff on my tests. So to be honest, that and algebra.
So you enjoy it the most though, not just because you do best in it, you actually enjoy it more.
Yeah, I find it interesting. Yeah.
Cool. How about least?
Least, I'm in science by far. Like stuff like biology and chemistry. I cannot. That's like all memorization. No, there's no way. That's my least favorite. Easily. I just
All right.
subject.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is a teacher to you liking a subject?
Oh, it's high up there. I would say it's a solid eight,
Solid
eight or
8.
nine. Yeah, because I could turn the whole class around. I could hate the content of the class, but the teacher can totally change the whole thing around.
Very cool. Do you have a teacher like that right now, or have you had a teacher recently?
Yes, honestly, right now I'm taking my science class is physics, and I really don't enjoy physics the most, but the teacher I have, he just does a really good job of immersing us in doing stuff in real life instead of just looking at pictures of stuff or just doing stuff on the computers the whole time. He really does a good job at that. So for me, that's like one of my more well-liked classes, even though I don't necessarily like the subject as much.
Got it. Okay. All right. So, as a Cali kid, is sushi a yes or sushi a no?
Sushi's a yes for sure. Yeah.
What kind? What I mean, the raw fish sushi is good.
I like all the kinds of sushi. I probably like the fried sushi the most. That one's really good too. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm honestly game for every kind of sushi.
Is there anything that you had in Cali that you ate a lot of that you went to South Carolina and it's like not there, or vice versa?
I'm going to be honest. In California, I would say on every block there is a Mexican restaurant. And I have not found a Mexican restaurant as good as the ones in California here. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
It does. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah,
All right. So roller coasters, yes or no?
I'm going to go probably no, to be honest. I'm one of those people where I get sick pretty quick on those roller coasters. I start to get queasy.
It's not your thing.
Yeah, it's probably not my thing. I'm more of a go on vacation to like a resort type thing instead of like a amusement park.
All right. So we did talk about music before. What were you
Mhm.
listening to before, or were you listening to something before your state finals match?
Honestly, before my state finals match, I wasn't listening to anything. I like to be alone in my own thoughts before the match and just see how I do there, because I think it's a very important part of wrestling is that mental aspect. That mental aspect of it for sure.
Do you, if you do that, right? I think some people use music to kind of like put their brain in a different place so they're not
Yep.
nervous. Are
Mhm.
you good with that? You don't get nervous, or do you get
Yeah,
nervous, or how does that work?
I think I've gotten a lot better with my nerves. I used to get super, super, super nervous my first earlier years of wrestling, but I've gotten to a point where it's like I try to go into every match think wrestling the same, so it kind of keeps my nerves down by doing that. So I mean, music's not a big deal to me. I know it's a big deal to a lot of people. I see it in a lot of guys.
Yeah, well, a lot of people listen to it and that sort of thing. I was just
Yep.
curious.
Mhm.
But I also know of others that don't listen to anything. So, I mean, it's not like you're all by yourself there.
Mhm.
If I finish, I want you to finish this sentence. I have a fear of,
I have a fear of letting losing and letting myself down.
oh,
Not as much losing, but I have a fear of not doing everything I can.
okay.
Yeah. So that's probably one of my biggest fears. It's like going into something knowing that I didn't do everything I can to like perform my best, whether that's like a test or a wrestling match. That's like my biggest fears because it just like lets myself down. I hate doing that.
All right. So, a couple of last questions before we jump on the mat. If I were to give you a time machine, are we going to hop in the time machine and go forward in time to the future or back in time?
Honestly, I would probably go I'd probably go backwards just because the future right now it's so uncertain with everything that's going on, and I'd like to go back in time just to see just to go to think when things were a little bit more simple, you know, less things with like your cell phone, less internet, more just simpler times in person, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So, can you give me about a time that might be interesting to go visit?
I would I would probably say I'm gonna say like 80s, 70s, 80s.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. As someone who lived during that time, I'm with
yeah.
that. I got you.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chip all the way. I know that's controversial.
Mint chip.
Mint chip. Yup.
What is it about mint chip that works for you?
I don't know the little pieces of chocolate in it. I think, and then just like it's refreshing mint. I just like it the most, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were cutting weight this year or not. You probably,
Mhm.
all wrestlers watch what they eat, and are paying attention to it.
Mhm.
Um, was there something that you kind of limited or cut out that you really missed?
Uh-huh. So definitely during the season, I wasn't cutting a ton, but you're weighing in like twice a week. So
Right.
you really have to limit your stuff. So I was like, I don't think I ate any type of like bread or like pastries or anything for like a solid like 3 months, to be honest. And I was like, towards the end, I was really starting to like wanting to binge on those for sure. Yeah.
so, so is that one of the first things we went and got,
Yeah.
like when we were
Yep.
done?
Yes. Yeah.
So a pastry
Sure.
from like a bake shop or
Yeah. Yeah. Donuts, croissants, stuff like that. There's like down the street, there's a coffee shop that has pastries. I was like one of the first places I went.
okay. All right. So let's go on the mat. Actually, before we go on the mat, is there a skill you have off the mat that people don't know about?
Actually, one of my hobbies that I do, and it's kind of also my job. I'm pretty good at surfing, actually.
Are you really?
Yeah. So James Island, Folly Beach is like 8 minutes away from my house right now. I was actually just there right before this for like a couple hours.
Okay. And you said
Yeah,
your job. So are you a
yeah.
competitive
So
surfer?
I'm not a competitive surfer, but I teach surf camps during the summertime.
Oh,
So I
very
teach people how
cool.
to surf. Yeah. Uh-huh.
How much fun is that?
It's a lot of fun, especially during the summertime. I'm there. I'm on Folly Beach every day. Every day, I
Okay.
teach people how to surf, and then I'll stay for a couple hours after if the waves are good.
All right.
Yep.
Do you know Mako Musalunas?
I have heard of him. Yes. Yeah. He goes to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, so he and I did
Yeah.
this and we talked about his
Yeah.
surfing and that sort of thing. So,
Yep, yeah. I know. He's definitely good. He's definitely better than me. For sure.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't matter.
Pretty good.
You're teaching. That's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Hmm.
All right. So let's go on the mat.
Hmm.
And when did you start? How did you start? Who got Tommy into the sport?
So for a while, we were just like we were bouncing around from different sports, and wrestling, to be honest, kind of stuck. And honestly, I played tackle football almost as long as played wrestling, up until like freshman year, actually. So, and then we were just bouncing around from sport to sport. And I think my mom really liked wrestling the most. So we kind of stuck with that. And then it just progressed from there. We kind of fell in love with it, to be honest.
All right. So if we were to go back in time and take a look at a little Tommy when he was wrestling, what was that like? Were you loving it? Were you like, oh man, like what was kind of that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, it was like at that point, we were doing it so much. It was like second nature. I mean, I was definitely having a lot of fun. But you always those days where like, oh, I got to go to practice again. But for the most part, you're doing it with your friends. I remember looking forward to it, and loving it.
All right. So if you were, I mean, because you've evolved from that point to now in
Mhm.
wrestling, would you say your greatest evolution has been in like your technique, in your mindset, in your confidence? What is the thing that's changed the most?
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, the more you wrestle, the better technique you get over time. But definitely for one of the biggest things was my mindset. I kind of overcame a lot mentally because I used to get really nervous. I used to put a lot of pressure on myself, especially in like middle school. It was almost like the be all end all. And then once I took a lot of that pressure off myself and just started having confidence in my abilities, almost like a different kind of wrestler came out. And everything just became more smooth, and everything kind of progressed because of it. My technique became better, everything,
Okay.
just because I took a lot of pressure off myself.
So
Hmm.
give me a comparing and contrast of you moved from California. Did
Yeah.
you moved in from California after your freshman year, right?
Yes. Yep. Right after my freshman year that summer. Hmm.
So California wrestling to South Carolina. I mean, obviously, we all talk about California has one state champion. It's
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's a
It's very
thing.
competitive. Yeah.
It's very competitive. And I mean, I just want you to tell me. I mean, do they wrestle a different style? You know what's kind of the takeaway there?
I mean, California is so big. You get like every type of wrestler. Like when I was in California, we never like left the state honestly once to wrestle because everything's there. All the tournaments were in California. We never left the state once to wrestle. So you get like every type of look. And then when it's all combined, you're 100% going to see every type of wrestler, just from San Diego all the way up to like Sacramento. You're going to get different kinds of wrestlers. It's
Different kinds of
just
kids and everything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
Okay,
from all the different clubs.
so coming into this year, you moved to South Carolina. The goal is to win a state title. Kind of, what were you thinking? Like, can I win a state title? Like, I don't know how much you knew about South Carolina. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So last year, I had coming into that's my sophomore year. I had no idea really what to expect, and then I started realizing as I kind of got into like postseason stuff, and I started to get to know my club teammates more. I realized that I had a real shot of winning, and then really up till that, I knew, and then to a certain point, I figured out, oh, there's going to be that last guy in the finals. I'm probably going to be my hardest match. And that was a sophomore year. I wrestled Cole Trader in the finals. And then after I placed second last year, I came into this year right now, this past season. I was like, I knew for sure that I was on a mission and that there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting to that finals and win that match.
So yeah, so a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of an evolution, and
Yes.
Schrader's tough.
Yes, he's
Um,
a good wrestler.
yeah. So, and you're a junior, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, winning it as a junior, uh, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but obviously the goal is to win it as a senior as well.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So,
100%.
so what have you taken away from this year that is going to help you accomplish it again next year?
This year, I definitely made some big improvements on my feet. I was able to kind of like step back a little bit and analyze where I need to work with a little bit with my lateral movement. I think my footwork probably was my number one thing that got better over time. I used to only move. I'm pretty good at forward and backward motion, and there was not a lot of lateral movement for me, and that's where I started to get stuck with better guys like Colt Schrader and people like that, and out of state. That's where I usually get stuck. So this year I really just worked on that, and I think that's one of my bigger strengths now is that I'm able to move very effectively laterally and forward and backwards, and my feet don't get stuck in cement.
So after winning a state title this year, what was the feeling?
It was great. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I gone in so long expecting to win it that after I won it, it almost felt like the same. I'm gonna be honest because I like manifested it for so long. I'm like state champion, state champion, state champion, state champion for so long that after I won it, I'm like, all right, what's the next thing? Like it
Right.
almost felt like I'd already done this a while ago because I'd manifested it for so long.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
All right. So what's next?
Next is NHSCA's next weekend, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be wrestling 141.
All right. Okay.
Already started cutting, unfortunately, but
um, and then the last question I have for you is the same last question I've been asking everybody, and that is why wrestle? Why is wrestling special to you?
I think wrestling just creates this different type of mentality that most people don't have. The mentality to work for things, because people in our generation right now, working hard really isn't on their like priorities. And wrestling kind of creates this thing where if you work hard, you will be the best. Like it's whoever talent takes you so far, but I believe in wrestling, work ethic is what takes you the farthest. And that I think that's one of the biggest things that can be applied to life through wrestling.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, and as a former wrestler and coach, I agree with
Yeah.
you. I really agree with you. Well, Tommy, I want to say congratulations on the state title.
Thank you.
I want to say best of luck at NHSCA's. I don't know if this will get posted before NHSCA's or not, but if it
Yep.
does, hopefully it'll be out there.
Mhm.
And I want to wish you the best of luck as you make a run for All-American or a national champ and that sort of thing. And yeah, congrats, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the interview. It was
All
awesome.
right, take care.
See ya.